I am Venom Walker. In today's episode, we are talking about this. Enjoy. Episode 6. Let's go. I think the glove is important. It would seem like it's Sauron's glove. So, a few questions. Where is Sauron's full armor? Like, is it hidden somewhere? It's so when he feels like it were. And then others that's got his glove now? Or is it the case of Ada defeated Sauron, so he took his glove as a trophy, even though maybe he would have full armor, maybe, but he does seem to want to be identified not as Sauron, as we saw in the previous episode. He gets very angry being called Sauron. That's that. I wonder if the glove somehow has some sort of magical properties to it, or if it's tough glove. Was it the case of Ada defeated Sauron in combat, chopped off his hand, took his armor? It seems funny to take it, but not take the rest of its armor. Bear in mind that armor's, I don't know what it's made from, but I would presume it's tough. And two, when we see Sauron in the episode one kind of starter, as it were, Sauron has on all his armor, so he's obviously got it. Or is it the case of him just like making new armor when he needs new armor? Or is it like passed down? Like I don't. Is it the case maybe Morgoth made him that armor because it's made from some sort of metal can't find nowadays? Once again, did Morgoth put some of his essence into it a bit tougher than who knows? Something that just occurred to me is Ada seems to be in charge. Seems to be a Uruk-hai, different to what we've seen in Order of, as I said before. But he appears to be in charge, cool. But as I say, there's no one that's not talking to like a council of Uruk-hai. So I almost wonder if he maybe there can only be one Uruk-hai at one time. I don't think that's the case. But why is Ada so different to everyone else? I kind of wonder if there's a story behind that. Like, is it the case of there were more Uruk-hai? However, maybe because of their nature, Ada to rebel. I wonder if Morgoth kind of hunted down the other Uruk-hai, like Ada, and maybe Morgoth took them to one side a little bit before he would, and more experiments. And maybe he hid them underground. So by the time we see them in Lord of the Rings, maybe they're more experimented on to make them more docile, or not quite the right word, but more willing to take any command. Maybe that's the case. That would be cool. Find that kind of a bit annoying. Older human gets asked as a where Sauron, and then someone intervened. We've had that quite a few times recently. Star Wars Acolyte show. Awful show, people don't. That was incredibly guilty of doing that. Um, this time, I think he's only done 2 or 3 times, so it's not the same of me. But also, kind of annoying. Like that's the information we want to know, but yet they hid it. And they hide it for quite a while. It's a quite good because that would happen in life. Like someone would just walk up and go, "Oh yeah, what about so and so?" Like they're in the middle of a battlefield, and some human has had some completely relevant conversation to what has happened. right now. God, that was a bit epic. As much as I like the Negoness, his powers are they're so like magic based. Whereas that was so like you can see someone doing that. Okay, he's got really good aim, and maybe that's a bit of like over magic of a good aim. However, other than that, like you can imagine all that happening. Like he shuts the door with like this random log, and that's so simple, but yeah, so clever. And he shoots and eats two orcs. See, that's quite cool. Like difference between Ada and maybe Sauron. Like Sauron would renege from behind in order to not be in harm's way, whereas Ada at least seems to very much be a leader who will put herself in danger to prove the point of he's the same as every other orc versus, as I say, Sauron, who's too important to be at that point. And it's interesting how the human man tells Ada to move versus one of Ada's own forces being like, might want to move Shire, not Shire, board. You see yet another scene where we see the elven people seem to be awake. So I think the random shouty guy on Numenor was right. I don't think the elves need to sleep. Which, as I said before, I had no idea was even a thing. So that's super impressive. And they don't seem to need sleep. Don't tire. They don't tire at all. And we hear about their eyesight. Elven eyesight. So you go back to episode 1 and the fact that one of the videos, I can't think of what it was, says how good Azrael's out of sight when she's on the ship going to Valinor. That just shows how far away Oz can see. So it must be really, really away, Middle Earth to Valinor. Good weekend sail. Now, I don't mean to be pedantic, or maybe I do, but like, okay, they did show Middle Earth now, even though like we can see it. Therefore, he could have seen it probably about half an hour ago, like easily. Are you telling me eyesight gets better over time? Like, no, he would have been able to see that probably even an hour ago, to be honest. See, that's cool because you get to hear about the elven people. When they go to war, they want us into violence of it, which is exactly what Ada said at the beginning of it. So that means Ada far far more elf than he is orc. Because I always thought like Uruk-hai were like dead in the middle of being orc and elf. But actually, yeah, life doesn't work that way. More so with Ada, but I'm sure there are others that their belief is far more elven than orc. Something I do like about the series that they talk about the Devourer a fair bit. There's Lord of the Rings in the film me. Don't think they ever talk about. In this time period, they seem to maybe still believe in it, whereas maybe by the time Lord of the Rings was more darkness. And now that's beyond that. The fact that Ada actually human for the most part, I'm not sure there were a few orcs as well, but for the most part, which would be. I I feel so sorry for that boy. Like he's had to do so much, and I don't really understand why he had to heal the wound himself. Like surely the elf could have just taken the torch and done it for the front, but the boy had to. It's a bit. Yeah, okay. So two comments. My first comment is that but all those people from three. Okay, okay. I suppose that what we saw on the top deck, there could have been no deaths, and there probably were. There were probably top deck, and where everyone slept, and where all the horses were kind of below. So I suppose that would be something that just occurred to me is that we still don't know, and they don't know, Sauron's still thing, like a present, like, and they don't even know that at all yet. Ganadu's still thinking he might be. This is a quite interesting. I now want to know what that task was. I don't know if we know. I have a feeling it do. Think is. I'm interested to know how everyone knows who Granadu is by sight. Because okay, she's really famous, I get that. But would people know what she looked like? Or is it the symbol on her chest? They know what that means. Maybe I think it does. Or is it it's that famous everyone knows her who's important all the told about her. I mean I suppose her brother's really famous, so by default. I kind of really want to know what Ada did to Halbrand. I presume we're going to find out the reason. I don't think we find out in one quite what. Eat your tongue. That's my new favourite saying ever. Rather than shut up, eat your tongue. So good. See, that's good because at the end of Morgoth's defeat, Sauron wanted to kill Middle-earth. See, when I first saw this, I thought Ada was lying about. On my first watch it, I thought Ada was lying about the fact he defeated Sauron. However, I don't think that is actually the case. I think he did actually. I think he did actually defeat him because of how he talks about his children. Oh, I'm enjoying this. So it's a whole dynamic of Galadriel thinking right, because her kind and all the other kinds of folk were created by the gods. But because Morgoth created in mockery, because Morgoth wanted to create his own race, that it was only an Iluvatar who was able to actually create. Morgoth wanted that power, so he did the best he could, basically. But yeah, she vowed to defeat them all, was that they're different. Whereas Ada, she actually wants a home for his people, and that's so counterproductive for an elf to kind of not see any form of life as being life. And I almost wonder what would happen if she go, oh, okay, let me side with Ada. Like, I wonder how different Lord of the Rings would have gone. And not just Galadriel, but like the whole Elven, in fact, all the other races. If all the other races accepted these people, I wonder if that would make life better on Middle Earth. And if they all fought against Sauron, surely Sauron would be. That was a good scene. But because they're both in pain. They're both trying to overcome. Well, she's trying to overcome her brothers, and Halbrand would appear. The overcoming continues and someone from the hands of Ada. And I think it's important to Halbrand doesn't seem to lie about very much. Seems to mislead, but he doesn't lie. So I do think not someone. Who that someone is, we will have to wait till season 2. We don't think we'll find out quite what happened with Halbrand and Ada. And also where Sauron fits in. But we've only heard about Sauron by name, by Ada, and Galadriel still thinks Sauron's a threat, even though we've not actually heard what Sauron's doing right now. So Halbrand would appear to be king. So does that mean Halbrand's going to be one of the 9 riders? Maybe. The right kind of vibe is king. Oh wow, it's not there. Wow. See, on my first watch, I didn't see the change, but it's when the human older man is with Ada, and Ada's asking him to do a mission, and then they're attacked by the army. And in that moment, which must have been a little bit longer than we saw, Ada tells the older man to do something with the hilt, the key, sword, whatever you want to call it. And the other thing is the human boy here, male, is he enjoyed having the hilt, the key, the sword because of power. And that very much rings true with the 9 win rate because they were men. And men want power out of everything. And that was a really weird one because maybe there's nothing wrong with wanting power, sort of, but also wanting power is quite bad if you think about the lengths people will go to for that power. Ooh! So the help, the sword, the key was designed by Morgoth to do this. Now, I'm not sure if physics works quite this way. However, you can sort of see what they were trying to do. So far, the water's receding from the higher mountain. Oh, so now we get to see why Ada wasn't really making the cave in all its water. Now that's a cool scene. And that represents so much. Evil taking over Ada, like that. I don't quite like the science within that. Like, I don't see why water would make a volcano erupt 100%. But I suppose if you placed water in correct point, I guess it would make the volcano erupt, maybe. But also, I don't think it'd be done by water. If like the water made the earth cascade into the volcano, maybe then it might erupt. So we will kind of give it some leeway a bit. But yeah, as a visual representation of what happened, I really like it. And that's the end of episode 6. Thank you for watching. If you like what we've seen, don't forget to subscribe.